Okay, welcome to Love of the Links. This is season 4, episode 2, and we have some special guests with us today that Bob's going to introduce for us.
Thanks, Andy. Are we sure we're on 2 or episode 3 or?
It's episode 2, season 4.
I miss Brendan's intro. I think this is,
I know, right?
he's our compatriot, but we're gonna take the show tonight. We may or may not drop a couple of Patriots hints in, only because our team's starting to do better. So I know Deb can't wait to get in on that. But it's really it's not too often we have on our show here people that are changing the golf world in a dramatic way. And so with us tonight are Deb and Erica Bennett, and they are the owners of Orca Golf Bag Company. And it's the only golf bag company in the world owned by women. And we're going to talk about the golf bag, but the bigger picture is the landscape of the golf industry and how Deb and Erica are trying to inspire others to be entrepreneurs, to get into this space and to help move the needle through. I mean, Andy and I have grown up in this game. We've been around. Andy, you're really into entrepreneurship too with some of your latest ventures. So there'll be a lot of some similarities here, but at the end of the day, you and I are middle-aged white guys, and we look at the game, and we've had some things that have come our way, and that's why I love partnering and being on the sense. I feel like I'm part of the team here with Deb and Erica, and what we're doing at our Trident Golf Performance and Lifestyle Center, Reimagine Golf with Deb and Erica. So, welcome, ladies, to the show.
Thank you.
Thank you. We're happy to join you.
Yes, thank you for joining us.
Absolutely, absolutely. And we're not two old white guys.
We are.
Well, two very handsome old white guys.
Thank you.
Let's say
Thank
that.
you.
Let's say
Thank
that.
you.
So.
Well,
How much did you give him for that nice comment?
so I wanted to start with really fascinating story with Deb and how really some of the impetus of this got going, and when you made the 17-yard story here, Deb.
Yeah, so I love telling the story, and I'll preface this by saying I'll tell my version of the story, and then Erica will give you her version of it, because she always says I leave out a lot of it, but I'll sort of give you the condensed piece of it. So I've been playing golf since I was in high school, which is many, many years ago, and played collegiately, and then went on to use golf as a business tool, which worked very well for me. And I moved up in the technology field very quickly, and became an executive and led a lot of people. And I had an opportunity at one company that I was working for, and it's still a very male-dominated field, and I had to fight my way through it, and I learned very quickly how to do that, and I became a very strong person because of it. But with that said, I had an opportunity. I always believed that I could do anything I wanted to do. I just had to believe it, and I made a decision that I was going to leave this company, and I wasn't invited to play in the golf tournament they had. It was a golf tournament they had for several years, and so last minute they asked me if I would play, and I agreed to it. And Hewlett Packard was a company I'd done quite a bit of business with, several large contracts, and had a great day with them, and went in for the evening festivities, and they had a putting competition. And I didn't get a ticket to putt. I was part of the company, and Hewlett Packard, the gentleman with Hewlett Packard, did get a chance to putt, and he didn't want to putt. He wanted me to putt. So this argument ensued on who was going to putt. Anyhow, I ended up putting to stop the argument. There were two gentlemen and myself who were selected. So we go out on the green. This is at the time when almost 600 people were there. We had the CEO, the board, everyone was there. So this was an opportunity for me to make a statement and to do it with a sport that I absolutely love. Again, it was a chance, but it was worth taking. So they lined up the three of us to putt, and we all had to choose a different position. Of course, there was money involved. And the first gentleman stands up to putt. And you know what he does? He putts off the green. And then the second gentleman gets up to putt, and he putts, of course, halfway down the green. So the whole time I'm telling myself, you know, I'm looking up at the crowd and I'm thinking, this is an opportunity for you to make a statement and just to sort of say, okay, I did what I was going to do here and I'm moving on. So I picked my spot, and my spot happened to be straight ahead. I could see it, and then it turned downhill left, and it was almost like I could just see it. There was like a line on it. And I stood up, I put my putter down, I kept looking at it, and my putt was actually 51 feet. And as soon as I released the putter, I said to myself, oh my God, I think that thing's gonna go in. I wanted it to go in, but I really wanted it to go in. And it just as it made the turn, I knew it. And it dropped right in the middle of the cup. The place erupted. It must be what Tiger Woods feels like every time he makes a putt. I don't know. It's the loudest thing I've ever heard in my life. Of course, everybody's running and so on and so forth. And they had to pay me 10 grand for that.
That's awesome.
On top of it. But the thing is, when Erica and I decided to start a company, we were trying to come up with a company name, and everything we do has a story to it, because stories is what's important in life. Right? It's all about stories, your own story. And Erica had said to me one morning, I've got the name of the company. And I said, well, what will the company be? And she said, 51 feet, something like, and I said, well, that doesn't make any sense. She goes, yeah, but it needs to be around golf. And so a little time went by. We calculated 51 feet. That equals 17 yards. The name of the company is 17 Yards Golf.
That's
So
right.
the whole idea behind it is you can believe, if you believe in it, you can make it work. And we use that as the inspiration to start the actual company. So that was the story behind that.
That's
then
awesome.
I'll jump in at this point because
Here she comes.
Yeah.
that is her story. But the bigger story that encompasses what 17 Years Golf and Orca brand is about is, you know, even when you don't have the opportunities, as long as you're given that opportunities, make the best that you have of it. And don't ever feel as if I'm never going to be that, or I'm never going to do that. Even if the opportunities are not staring us in the face, because one of the things I do in my spare time is I give talk to young and older people about, you know, finding their authentic voice and their authentic selves. But she wasn't invited. You know, it was a last minute thing. It wasn't planned, but given the opportunity, she was able to do it. So it's a part of the bigger story in the belief in yourself and finding that way or making one, which is a part of, like I say, the bigger story.
How long ago was this?
That was in 2013.
That's a wonderful story.
Thank you.
I love it.
It felt really good.
Oh, I'm sure it did, right?
And you know, to this day, people still remember it.
Yeah,
Of course.
another piece of it is that competition was going on for many years, perhaps over 10 years. Nobody had done it before and nobody has done it since. So she's the only one who's ever done that. And again, think about a 71 yards putt, you know.
17 yards, yeah.
17 yards.
It was long. That was a long putt. That was a long.
Yeah, the make percentage for that putt's under 3%, I would bet.
Yeah,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And then you surround the green with 600 people and you only get one shot at it. Yeah,
yes.
probably a little bit less than that even.
And the one person who I really wanted to see it got to see it front and center. And it really made the point I needed it to make.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I think it was a great statement and set the sort of like the vision going forward that that you've wanted to do into the golf space. And throughout the show, we need to drop in obviously the website orca-golf.com, because fantastic website, certainly a lot of information, a lot of great storytelling, messaging there. And how did you come up with the Orca name?
Well, that's another story. It's a much simpler story. I'm not really sure, to be honest with you. I've always liked orcas. I think they're incredible animals. It kind of represents for me kind of the yin and yang of life. And Erica actually goes into it a little bit more in depth and knows a lot more about the orca than I do. But it is just a very, very strong figure for us.
That it is.
And we're not your typical couple that would get involved in golf. I mean, she comes from a different country. I come from a totally different background, very different views of life, and had very different experiences. But to Erica, when she tells the story, you know, we all can live in the world with our own thoughts and all of that, and still enjoy. The orca enjoys the bigger ocean, but lives with the smallest fish. So we just want to be part of that. We want to be part of that. So she tells the story much better than I do, but I really don't know where it came from, my fascination with them. I really don't.
Well, let's touch on Orca's background too, because author, TV work, I mean, just a really, really varied, really amazing background. And then the design, I mean, you're brilliant as a designer, Erica, and you've got, I don't know, sports figures using the bag out there, and had said to you, do you think you could do this or that? And then you create something and they're just speechless.
Mm-hmm.
Thank you. I always preface everything by saying it comes from my mom. In my former years, I was a TV presenter. I did public relations and journalism. I started writing when I was a little girl. I've written and published my first book. So writing and storytelling and speaking was a big part of who I was, but I couldn't even draw stickmen when I was young. But again, it was again not having the opportunities, and golf was a four-letter word that was not near my existence as a little girl, because I was too busy trying to study and read. When I grew up, we didn't have electricity, we didn't have running water. So I would be waking up at 5 a.m. with my mom holding my hand in the dark with a little torch. So my mom would make a torch from paper in a bottle, and she would actually put like kerosene oil, which if it were today, they probably would arrest her for child abuse. Because there I was with a torch walking to school, because I was always focused on education and school, and my aunt was a quintessential teacher. So reading and education was everything. So golf and sports was never a part of my reality. But unbeknownst to me, I clearly had some talent that I didn't even know about until I had finished my colleges in Jamaica and work in the first 10 years of my life, like I said, in PR and journalism and writing. And when I migrated to this country, the first time I hit a golf ball, Deb was like, are you sure you've never hit that before? And I'm like, never. And so it progressed from that to clearly having more talent than the average at golf. So it came very easily. At over 50, or I'm closer to 60 than I am 50. And Bob and Mike, Mike texted me. Mike is our colleague who played with us at Timbertech. And he said, did you know that your tee shot on 18 was 350 yards? And I'm like,
no, 250 yards, Erica.
And
Hey, don't ruin a good story.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry. It was 250 yards, which is incredible.
That is incredible.
And I tell this now because were I given the opportunity as a little girl, who knows what I could have become, not only in golf, but in tennis. I was hitting, backhands, like I was doing it from I was born when I was in my 40s. And so the idea of Orca Golf is to inspire and encourage the broader golf community to use that orca as a symbol, as Deb preluded before. This huge animal who is so misunderstood in so many ways. It's the gentlest creature in the ocean with the most beautiful paint job. But we think that it's this killer beast. It has the tendency to kill, but it's not something that they do. It only happens if they're, if they feel threatened, which most times they're not. They're apex creatures, but they live in the ocean with the smallest fish. And that's how we see golf, as all encompassing, as the bigger golf tournaments, but you also have the everyday player who could maybe wow us. What if we were to expand golf to little girls who were little Ericas and to little boys who could be, I say Tiger Woods because I can't help it, who could become the Tiger Woodses and, the Justin Thomases and, the Gary Players of the world. If we don't offer that opportunity and if we keep it centered in a sphere that we make, boy, are we missing some old ladies hitting 350 yards golf shots.
Yep, no doubt. So I have a question for you. I have a little bit of a background in the golf accessory business, and I was involved in that for quite a few years. But it seems as if you all are really focusing on the bespoke part of the business, right? Trying to really get into the ability of customization and talk a little bit about that and your strategy in regards to that.
Everybody's different. Everybody's different.
Mm-hmm.
And so the average golf bag that's out there, that there are tens of thousands of, really say nothing about you. They're just a vessel to carry your golf clubs. Whereas what we try to do is maybe someone who doesn't want a fully customized bag, but they might want a really great quality bag that they could put their name on, or maybe they have some type of logo that means something important to them, or a date or something like that. That then begins to tell their story. And when it comes to the higher end bags, where Erica really, she designs all of those, but when you get into really customizing a bag, now we're talking about zipper colors and the types of zippers and the piping and all of that, in addition to the materials, that becomes a walking billboard. That is your story. That talks about your journey. And again, I think we're living in a society now where our individuality is much more important to us than it used to be. Years ago, we didn't always want to stand out. Now we really want to stand out. We want to be proud of what we're going through and our journey in general. So with that said, we have this group of what we call our inline bags, which anyone can purchase. And again, some people don't want anything on it. They just want a great quality bag that's going to last longer than 2 seasons. Then you get the high-end ones. And again, people use those for gifts. They do them individually. They just really tell your story, just like, the Orca. Every Orca is different. Their tail markings makes them different. So that's what we try to offer. So strategically for us, it's all about the individual. It's not about getting lost in the big ocean.
Yeah, and I would say that I think certainly in the last 10 years, probably more like 15, the market for individuality has gone, through the roof.
Yes.
In the past, all manufacturing was all kind of consolidated, and people made certain styles and had to make certain quantities to hit those numbers and to be able to do that. And I think that the world of manufacturing now has allowed something like what you all are trying to do to happen. And I think it's awesome that you've really taken this and kind of run with it a little bit.
And there's some things we'll be doing next year, which we can't really disclose right now, but it is truly game changing. It is truly game changing. And it's just something Erica and I had been talking about for quite some time, and it literally will support and uplift exactly what we're doing, but it really is long term. is something that's long-term, and no one else is doing it. No one else is doing it. So
Love that. I love hearing that. That's awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because and the golf bag again, and it's not when I started playing golf, and maybe I'm probably not your typical everyday person, but I always wanted a bag that was kind of a little nicer, but it was always the car that I drove, or a bag that I purchased. I couldn't go and I couldn't purchase a really nice quality bag. And they would be nice when I bought them and I would be so excited. But after 2 or 3 seasons, I'm like, oh my God, I'm not gonna go play on Sunday with, X person bag looks like that. So I noticed from then, and I started playing parks about 12 years ago. From then, we noticed that whenever we talked about something of this nature, people were always interested. And I remember 5 years ago when we started by making one single golf bag. For a friend of ours, of course, you always start with your friends because they're not going to give you a hard time if it's horrible. So it was a friend of ours, and incidentally, the first bag, you figure your friend's gonna say, okay, make me a black and white bag. No, he wanted a hunter green bag. And I'm like, oh my God, it's my first bag. Come on, hunter green. Where am I gonna find a hunter green material? But of course, being who we are, there's no giving up. We're gonna find that hunter green material. But yeah, so when we did this, we decided during that first year to go to the World was happening in Myrtle Beach, and those were the days when literally it was Deb and I still learning the whole manufacturing process and tariffs and back and forthing and the business, international business. And we would literally be lugging our golf bags with us because we weren't at a place yet where we are today, where everything was kind of more seamless. It was us going through the motions of a very young business. And at the World, we met some golfers there, and I was absolutely shocked that day, just seeing a couple bags that we had, because we were just kind of doing a market testing with golfers, because they were all golfers, to see how they reacted to this idea of custom designing their own bags from ground zero, as we call it. And we had an order for 45 golf bags that day for golfers who wanted an individual golf bag. It was people who wanted their alma mater. They wanted the first time they had a hole in one. There's a guy that showed me a tattoo on his hand, and he wanted to know, could I replicate that tattoo on the bag? And that was 5 years ago. And that was when we really realized that what we were doing really wasn't so crazy at all. That there were golfers out there. There was a niche of golfers who really would like a nicer quality bag, one that was pretty affordable, and second, their own golf bag, because to them, it was more than just something to put your clubs. That we are hoping that Orca will take that message to having a blank canvas and painting it your own, because people who love golf love golf. It's just the bottom line. Your clubs, your balls, the way you dress is important. Now we're adding the golf bag to that.
Yeah, I wanted to touch on what you're doing as far as really paving some new paths for in the golf industry and on the business side. But what do you see out there when you're out there playing golf? Because I know you both play a lot of golf, and what do you see as far as the opportunities for more women to get into maybe the business side of golf, or merchandising, or the golf course maybe operation? And I'm inspired by seeing what you're doing, and hopefully others get inspired. And I know they are. I know there's many that are, and you can pave the way and almost be like the orca and have the other fish following you.
Yeah.
Thanks, Bob. That's a great point. Go ahead, Erica, and then I'll jump in. Go ahead.
What I was going to say, that there is there's wide-eyed attention from women and young people to get involved in the golf industry, and it warms our heart every time we're talking to people in general, not just women, men as well. What is so bewildering to them is the fact that we are actually doing it, because for a lot of women, what they feel is fear that it won't work. Why? Because they won't have support.
Mm-hmm.
If the larger organizations in the golf industry were able to just support or allow more of these women who are playing golf by the drove. We're joining groups of women. That there's one group that is 24,000 women on this group, and they're golfers and they golf well, and they could do a lot more, but they're like, oh, I'm not doing it because I don't feel that welcome. You know, even when we go to buy clothing in stores, we don't see that many women clothing. We don't see that many women anything. The bathrooms on the golf courses, you go to the men's section first, and we're like, oh, we're women. No, put us, we need to be there before you, So so there's wide-eyed attraction for so many women. It's getting better seeing us, and we're happy. Every day we wake up happier that we're doing it, because we really are inspiring others to say, you know what, I've always wanted to do this in the golf industry with kids or with veterans or with adults, but I just always thought that it wouldn't work. So Bob, your question is, yes, there is a field of a course of women who are willing to see how Orca does, because we were either smart enough or crazy enough to enter at the golf bag level, which is perhaps the hardest. We might think is the hardest to get into. So
yeah, I think if I can just add on to that a little bit, it's like spending 30 some years in the field of technology, which I have done, was not popular when I started. And now you look at today, and you've got most of the large organizations, global organizations, their technology being headed by women. It was a tough road. And it's still a tough road. But I will say it was very encouraging during the pandemic to see that I think NGF reported something like 600 and some thousand more people found golf, and about 50% of those were women. That was incredible. But there's still, to Erica's point, there's still a fear of failure coming into the golf industry, because again, the golf industry is still one of those industries. It's a good old boys network, and you have to have the strength and the thick skin and the determination to keep at it. And I have said this before, we have a lot of friends, female friends who are in the golf industry, and they came in through the clothing business, which is a little bit more, I don't want to say it is easy, because there are a lot, but it is a little bit easier to step into that than it is to take on some of the bigger names when it comes to golf bags. Golf bags is sort of the taboo area that is owned. It's just like golf clubs and now golf balls. I just saw an article this morning by a new company, I forget where they're out of, but doing the same type of thing, where they're creating a particular ball and they're building it around inclusion. Did you see the article, Bob, this morning? It was very,
I did. I read that. Yeah.
I think I shared it with Erica. Very interesting what the gentleman was saying. And again, I think there is just this need for, whether you're male or female or whatever it is, to get involved in the golf industry, and for it to have the types of opportunities that should just be available to anyone. Yeah, it is unique that women are coming into the golf bag industry. I think there was one other woman who tried this many years ago. I was told, I don't remember the name of the company, but not unlike technology, we still need our male counterparts, specifically someone like Bob, who's become one of our dearest friends, to help us navigate, because navigating the industry is very difficult. It's very difficult. So
I knew those people.
Did you know those people?
The girls in California.
Yes. Okay. Yes.
Yes.
And the name of their company started with a B. It's
Yes.
Not Bender. I know what you're saying.
Bennington.
Right.
Bennington. Yes, you are correct. And again, for whatever reason, that was not sustainable. I don't know, you know.
Sold, I'm not sure.
Yeah, things are a little, I think it might have been, so I'm just not really sure. I can't remember, but yeah, I mean, it's just, there are just certain fields that are still challenging.
Yep.
Very, very challenging.
And challenging in the way, Andy, that, I mean, people who are listening to this podcast, it is not saying that we want, you know, navigation into what we do because we're women. We only want it because we have a damn good product, which is equal to or better than what's on the market. So it's not asking, oh, we're girls, we're women. Oh, let's support us. No, put us to the test. Give us the contracts. Let us show you what we have, because so far the people with whom we have worked, we've blown them over. We've had, you know, clients, and we won't say the name of the company. It's a small world with golf bags. And they said, I have worked with this company for X years. Your service is like nothing I've ever experienced. And they've moved away, not because we did anything special, but our bags are equal to or better than theirs, and our service is top notch.
It's just,
So that's what we're talking about. Give us the opportunity.
I get it.
Don't just say, oh, well, I've done business with, you know, this company for 25 years. I'm sorry, I don't know about you. And you're a woman, maybe you make it for women. We're like, no, look us in the eyes and listen to us, and you're going to walk away going, who the heck are these women?
Yeah, you just want an opportunity. You don't want any charity. You just want an opportunity.
No, right. Yep. That's all it is. That's all it is. Yep.
So the you know, Andy's been this inspiration to myself in an own way with how he's done some things in golf and with different companies he started. So just curious, Andy, do you have any thoughts or perspective to Deb and Erica on what, you know, because they're you know, started for a few years now. You've done some things for more than a few years, and your take on the industry. Any advice for them?
My brain's going toward all the details, right? So the one question that I wanted to ask is, okay, that first person that you made a bag for, right? The hunter green bag. It's like, okay, you're there. You have someone who wants something, and you're going to produce it for them. How different is the way you went about manufacturing, you know, those first few orders versus how you're doing it now? Because there has to be some sort of evolution to the process.
Oh, yes.
Well, neither one of us came from a background of understanding supply chain, manufacturing, logistics, shipping, you know, and then who knew what would happen with COVID and the impact of COVID. So, you know, again, being in the field of technology, I've always prided myself on being a lifelong learner. So even though I don't do that full time anymore, I'm still always learning something about technology. It's the same way in golf. It's the same way in manufacturing in general. It changes every single day. We're always looking for better. We're always looking for the best partners we can find. And, you know, we go through periods of time like everybody does where, you know, maybe you need to change a partner, maybe you need to change what you're doing, how you're doing it. We learn about materials every day. We learn about, you know, regulations, things we have to make sure our materials meet certain requirements, you know, all kinds of stuff like that. It's an everyday process. There is no book, just like technology. Here's the dirty little secret about technology, just so you know. I've sat 33 years. The difference between someone who's in technology and someone who's not is people in technology have no fear. There is no black book we read. A lot of times it's learning on the fly, and we have no fear. That's all it is. That's all it is. But we have to stay up on it so we can make sure we understand how everything interconnects. Same thing in golf. You would think a bag's pretty simple. Oh my God, 75, 77 pieces to every bag.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we make changes. We'll use something, we'll look at it, we'll say, I don't like the look at that. And look, why can't we put this on the inside? Why can't we do this? And bag designs don't change a lot. Bag design life cycle is about 5 to 7 years, and then a minor change is made. You know, years ago, it was not so much in Europe anymore, still here in the US. 14-way tops are still popular. Nobody uses 14-way tops in Europe. They just don't do it. So, you know, we've had some clients who Erica's designed 14-way tops with, but we made some adjustments to the bottom of our bags, our handles, the material on the inside, everything down to the little details of the leather and the stitching. We only use YKK zippers. There's all this stuff we knew nothing, but that is a learning process every single day. And both of us do it. Both of us do it. We're always researching.
Sorry.
No, go ahead.
Andy, that one bag that you talked about, those were the days when we had a storage over by the public storage. So talk about changes. Today we have a warehouse the size of, you know, quite a place in Texas. Mm-hmm. So that shows you the difference from that first golf bag and how the manufacturing of the bags have changed. You can just imagine the process before. It's finding new manufacturers, finding manufacturers who are more willing to think of the earth and sustainability. Manufacturers who are willing to agree with the idea that we don't just want 10,000 bags that are going to be thrown away 2 years, and finding those people that kind of feel the same way we do about getting our customers the best that there is on the market.
Yeah, because what we consider ourselves a boutique, not so much mass quantity, because we want quality. We will not compromise on quantity, or I'm sorry, on quality, for us to get a quantity of bags out there. We just won't do it. We just won't. So you also have to know that manufacturing, they love the tens of thousands of bags. They don't like 100 bags. So they're very difficult to find. You can find them. But again, now you've got quality issues. You've got all kinds of things. And working with them to make sure, and we work direct with our factories. We do not use third parties. We work direct with our factories.
And most she won't tell you, Andy and Bob, but it's the brilliance of Deborah Bennett that really made people are asking us, how did you do it so fast? And I'm thinking, fast? This was happening for 25 years. So there's nothing fast about it. But I have to give credit to Deborah and her years of working in business at that level and understanding, what it takes to build a business from the ground up and do it pretty swiftly. But when we came to the table, we came ready. We came with a foundation based on our backgrounds and based on years of playing golf and playing it in private quarters and in non-private quarters with some of the biggest figureheads and the everyday golfers. So we learned one of the most important part of moving Andy from that one bag to a warehouse in Texas from a storage room is that we've listened all these years to what golfers want. So when we started the company, we were starting going, okay, we know what it is that we want, and we know what golfers are asking for. The final piece of it is to walk into green grass stores, and they don't ask us, do you make bags for men?
Yeah. And to walk to the table having no fear, because you really cannot have any fear. You just can't.
Well, I'm sitting here smiling because this was my life for a long time. And Erica, what you just said about preparing for your business for so long, part of that is absolutely spot on. But I, for one, know just how much you're not prepared for in diving into an industry of something you really have no experience in, and the ability to learn about all the things that you have to learn about, Deb, that you just rattled off like 5 of them, supply chain, all of the materials, the accessories, all that stuff that you have to absolutely, just be, kind of, have a crazy orientation into that you have no business doing, but
Right.
your passion is there and you learn it and you learn how to do it. And I just think it's absolutely fabulous that what you two are doing is such an awesome thing. And it's, you can be as prepared as you think you are, you're never prepared.
Right,
And you're
right.
You're
learning
working
on
off
the
of it.
fly.
Is it me on my end?
It's you, Erica. It's you. And you know, Andy, to your point, you know, one of the things I credit my father, who died at a very early age, you know, my father instilled in me a go-getter type, you know, really pushed me to do the right things. And I started a company back in '85. And the reason I started the company, this was years ago, this was a computer company. And the reason I started it was because I had this idea and I said to my father, here's what I'm going to do. And he said, you can't do that. And I said, wrong thing
Yeah.
to say to me. And you know what? I proved it to him. And he had to say to me, yeah, okay, you're right on that one. And you know, that kind of set me up years later. And again, you know, I thought about it, toyed with the idea over the years to start something new, but I think it was only after I met Erica and knew I had a partner in crime who could really, you know, sort of supplement where I was missing certain things, and then me complementing areas of expertise that I had that she didn't. It really is the perfect match. And that has a lot to do with it as well. We're very supportive. I know what I know, she knows what she knows, and we don't know what we don't know. And that's okay, because we figure that out. And then we have great people like Bob, who, and now you, Andy, who can help us with those things. And we have, you know, can ask questions. Because I know there are things in technology that are just things that I know that I don't even remember I know.
Right.
Until it comes up. You see what I'm saying?
Absolutely.
It's like knowing it at the back of your hand. And you guys understand the golf industry like that. So although I can teach people technology, you know, you can teach us about the golf industry. So it's real, and it's enjoyable. It's something we enjoy as well. It's not like, oh, well, there's a gap here, so let's just do this. No, we really enjoy golf. We love golf. We have the same competitiveness that everybody has who plays golf and want to constantly be doing better. But, you know, it's going to take us a little bit longer, and because we're so consumed with the business right now, but periodically we get a chance to play. So, yeah. So
let me make sure we get that website in again as we get to the 18th tee of our show here, but orca-golf.com, ORCA, orca-golf.com. So, you know, I've been very, very privileged and honored to know these two young ladies and get to know what's coming up down the road. So I can't divulge anything, but you know, just if I guess it's just you know, where do you see Orca Golf in 5 years? Without giving away too much of your secrets that you've shared with me, but the idea that you're in there, you're growing this, and now getting some traction, getting some good momentum, and what you teased Andy with a little bit earlier is, I'll try to get the scoop on this, Andy, for this show.
You know, for me, I'd like to see more Orca golf bags out there than I see any other golf bag. People appreciating the quality, telling their own stories, and, you know, hopefully playing a little bit more golf, but just being, you know, we're already proud of all the work we've done and where we've come to and all of that, but to really see the company take off and be a name that people think of when they go to buy a piece of equipment.
Yeah.
You know, you've got the bag, you've got the clubs, and you got the ball. You know, those are the only things you absolutely have to have.
Yep.
And we want to be the bag of choice. That's what we want. That's what we want.
It's I think I can dovetail off of that. I think the work that we're doing, and we hope and we feel that, you know, when a golfer, a serious golfer or not so serious golfer, wants a really good golf bag that they can afford, that it will be no question they're going to Orca, because it's one of the things we feed off of is we feed off. My aunt would have killed me if she heard me say off. But, yeah, the teacher in her. One of the things is hearing what customers say. That means everything to us. And whatever a customer says, we take it to heart, and we work with them and we work on it. And the overwhelming thing that we hear from customer are these three words: I love the bag. I love the bag. That's four. Math probably not that great. But people, that's what we hear. I love the bag. And second to that, the service. And that's what we want. And that's what we feel is going to take us even further. Because like I said earlier, we do have the product. Test us. When we saw the USA Solheim Cup team, I'm sitting there going, I know I can design a better bag. I'm not asking if I can. I know I can. And I know our company can produce a better bag than what we see. And I probably shouldn't have said what it is, but, and again, talk to us and let us send you a sample of what we can do for, you know, the Solheim, the Ryder Cup, whatever it is, because we're not thinking we can. We know that we can make those golf bags because we've done it before, but we've only done it with individuals. Now we're going to the bigger golf community and the bigger market in golf. And I think the fear is that for these people, one that looks and sounds like me and you know, Deb. So again, it's what the customers say that make us feel that the answer to that question, Andy, is we want people to be the go-to company for a golf bag that, you know, you feel proud when you pick it up, just like when you hit that hole in one or that one good shot. The entire 18 holes, it was terrible, but there was one shot, you know, that feeling that makes you go, oh yeah, there it is, you know, after like 100 shots before, that's terrible. That's how we want you to feel about your golf bag, not just something that, you know, you just stick the golf bags in. And we've had some interesting stories from people who've, you know, designed our bags. On our website. We have, you know, some of them, we can't put them all, but we have some of them, and the stories behind those bags are intriguing. When we launched our new website a few days ago, the comments were great. And a couple of people said to us, but, you know, on that custom page, you know, this little piece of it is, and that's all we needed to hear from 3 people. We went in and we changed that, because when we sat back and thought about it, it was very important what those 3 customers had to say. So even though the overwhelming number of people had positive comments, we still took into consideration what those 3 people said, because it made perfect sense. So it's not just willy-nilly going by what people say, it's thinking about it, looking at it from a strategic and, you know, from a financial point of view, because we're in this business to make money as well. The giving back and the growing the game is a part of the overall story. But that's what we hope 5 years from now will happen.
Well, I don't know much of anything, but one thing I do know is if you continue to have customers walking around saying they love your product, you'll be successful.
Yep.
And that's
Thank you.
obviously what's going on right now.
Thank you. We appreciate
I
it.
agree. Thank you. I agree.
Well, it's the, you know, it's the product, it's the vision, it's how, certainly we'll be doing some things with Orca, with Reimagine Golf out at our Trident Golf Club. So we'll have to come back on a future show. And as we build out our plans there for something very innovative in the golf industry, we'll be ready to share that. And it's been always a pleasure to be with you, Deb and Erica. We might have
lost Erica there, but I'll certainly pass along the info.
But I guess, yeah, we'll see you soon for sure with your other new announcements. So we'll make sure we'll try to get the scoop on that. I'll hand it back to Andy for the wrap up here, but thanks so much, Deb.
Thank you both. Appreciate it so very much.
Yes, I'm going to get the season in the episode down here, Bob. It's a wrap. Thank you so much, Deb. It was great hearing your story and listening to you. And it does warm my heart personally because
Thank you, Andy.
I
appreciate that.
I know what you're going through and I know what you're dealing with. And I know just how much the satisfaction of being successful at what you're doing means. So I think that's
Absolutely.
awesome.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
You're welcome. So that's a wrap. Season 4, episode 2, Love of the Links with Deb and Erica Bennett. Boom. Awesome.
Okay.